What's up, guys? I'm Joe. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So I have a honing video for you today, and I know exactly what you're thinking. Thank God, not another skiing video. I was on vacation for a little while doing some skiing. I was in Vermont. I was in Colorado, and I posted some videos of my trip. And I know this isn't a skiing channel. I know this is a straight razor and honing channel, but skiing is one of those things that I'm passionate about. And I posted them. I thought you guys might find them entertaining. Some of you did. And for those of you who did view the videos and liked the videos and left a comment, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys know that stuff is important to help grow your channel. Skiing season's not over, so I will probably be back out. But I don't know if I'm going to have too many more videos because things are kind of winding down at some of the mountains. So some of the really cool terrain is not going to be accessible, but we'll see. Anyway, while I was out in Colorado, I met up with my friend Reed, and he's been in the wet shaving community for a very long time. He and I got talking about straight razors. Now, I sent him a straight razor a little while back from a company that was out of Colorado, and he's been straight raising for on and off for a little while, and we got talking about honing. He said he'd like to learn how to hone. And I told him that I have a set of nano stones that he is welcome to try. If he wants to give it a try, I'll send them out to him so he can start his own honing journey. And so this is gonna kind of be a tutorial. I was gonna do a private video and just send it to him, send a link to him, but I figured, you know what, let's post it because maybe there's a tip that I missed. There's a lot of great guys in the community with a lot of really, really good advice. So maybe they could help with a tip of, maybe something that I forgot to mention. You can leave a comment and give Reed a little bit of advice of some things that I missed. So the razor we're going to be working with, this is an M-Mogul New York straight razor. When I first got this, these are the scales that came with it. They were broken. I knew they were broken when I bought it. I wasn't really after the scales. I was after the blade. This is a 13/16 blade, and when I'm done honing, I'll take the tape off and show you the spine. There's some really nice checkering on the spine. That looks really good, and the blade was in really nice shape. So I wasn't really after anything other than the blade, and I threw this translucent blue set of scales on it. I think it looks really cool on this razor. All right, so I have it taped. I'm using some 3M Super 33. And what I'm going to do is I have an Atoma 600. I have a 400 as well. But sometimes I think the 400 is a little bit too aggressive, especially for these nano stones. They are softer. And this 600 works out really well. Just do a quick lap, clean it up. I'll build up a really, really thin slurry, and then we'll get going. So what I like to do when I'm setting the bevel is I start with half strokes. Now, I'll do 10 and then 10, and I might do a total of 100 to start, and then we'll move into some X strokes, and then we'll check the bevel. So we're going to do 10 and 10 in each direction until we get to 100. There's 20. There's 40. 60. 80. There's 100. Now we're going to do some X strokes. Now, if you're not comfortable doing X strokes and you want to just do half strokes, that's fine. But I would recommend, practicing some X strokes because it is a very important stroke to use when you're honing. It is. A lot of people say it is one of the most important ones. I didn't really count this out, but for reference, you can start with maybe 40 X strokes and see what you got. All right, now we're going to do some circles. Again, we're just kind of changing up the scratch pattern a little bit. I like to hone with two hands. It's just a comfort thing for me. I'm not really putting any pressure. This is more just a way to guide the razor. It's just the way I've always done it. If you're more comfortable, doing with one hand, then, by all means, go for it. But I'm just comfortable with two hands. All right, and then we'll just finish off again with some X strokes. The one thing I'm watching here is this undercut, and it is kind of rising up the blade. There's not a lot of water on this right now. I am watching it rise up along the edge evenly across. All right, so let's give this a check. See how we're doing. So I'll throw some of these packing peanuts in the box so you can check your own edge read. So all you're going to do is you don't want to do a lot of pressure. It should just touch right in, just like that. So we'll do a little bit more up here at the toe, I think. That's one thing you can do. You go down the blade and you can check, and you can notice maybe it's not really dropping in that easily. You see I'm kind of doing some different movements here with the half strokes. A little bit more water on here. Again, just kind of changing up that scratch pattern a little bit. And you will develop your own style as you go. You can use what I'm showing you as reference. You can build up your own style as you go. Certain things you do like, some things you don't like. Maybe you don't like using circles. Maybe you don't particularly like going in, different directions. Maybe you'll come up with your own. Which a lot of people do, come up with their own little technique. dry this off real quick and see what we got. I have a feeling we're going to be good. Yeah, that's good. You see, that's just dropping right in there. I'm not putting any pressure on there. So our bevel's set. We're going to move on to a 5K. But before we do, I am going to change out this tape. When I use the Super 33, I change it out after I set the bevel, just because it's not it wears out a little bit faster than the 88. Okay, there we go. I had a piece of this cut sitting on standby, but it fell on the floor. So to cut a new piece. Just bear with me here 1 second. There we go. All right. On to the 5K. Again, 600 Atoma. Give it a quick lap. Clean off that surface a little bit. A little bit of a slurry. Not a lot. And then we do the same thing. We'll go with half strokes here too. A little bit more water here. We're going to go with half strokes here too. There's 20. 40. 60. 80. 100. 120. Okay. Now we're just going to do some X strokes here. Now I'm not using very much pressure. A little bit of pressure. Not very much. I'm watching that undercut. I'm seeing that it's going right up the blade. I'm getting a good undercut. Getting some bubbles starting to form here. It's also a good sign. These nano stones, they work quick. So you don't need a whole lot. And one thing I'll mention, I should have mentioned earlier, when you're flipping the razor, flip it on its spine and over. Flip it on its spine and over. Now, I have done videos and I've seen a lot of people, I do this myself, you just get going and you just flip and you flip, right? Or you just flip like this or like that or like this. I've done that myself. Once you get, you get going and you get really comfortable with it, you'll start kind of moving a little bit quicker. But this is just a good practice when you're getting started to flip on the spine so you don't ding the razor as you're flipping it over. If you go like this, and the next thing you know, you bang it into the stone, and then you kind of mess up your edge. So flip on the spine. All right. Let's see if we can notice. So right here is where I'll start testing it to see how it's cutting. See if I'm getting anything yet. Yeah, we're starting to pull hairs. Yep, we're starting to pop some hairs off there. Now I'm gonna stay on this stone a little bit longer. And you see I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go back and forth with half strokes and X strokes. Can't really tell, but starting to get this build up in the stone, like right in here. You might not be able to see it in the video. So you're just getting rid of all the 1K scratches. That's one thing you can use to tell if you're ready to move on to the next stone, especially with these nano stones. A little bit of a swarf buildup here. Just getting rid of those 1K scratches. A little bit of a buildup on the stone. And one thing you can do to kind of help you know you're ready to move on to the next stone is if you start working on this stone and you don't have much of a buildup or you don't have much swarf. It's important to take your time with these lower levels. Your 1K, if you're going to use a 3K, your 5K. If you have a poor bevel set, then the rest of this, 8K, 12K, or if you want to go on to a natural, it's not going to matter if you have a poor bevel set. What I'm going to do is give this a quick clean. We'll keep going on it. And I'll show you what I mean about the buildup. Showing less buildup. So we have a nice undercut. We don't have a lot of metal coming off. We don't have a lot of buildup. Not really generating much swarf right now. So this kind of tells me we might be ready to move on to the next stone. This is actually a little tip I picked up from Devin Jackson a little while back. He did a video talking about using indicators on a stone to know when you're ready to go to the next stone. So I think we're ready to move on to an 8K. Now, like I said, I'm going to clean these up, dry them out before I send them off. Make sure whatever you're using to lap your stones is clean. You don't want to put the grit from your 1K or 5K onto your 8K and so on. Quick little lap here. Clean it up. You can see how soft these stones are. They just... All right, so now we got an 8K. Now this, we're not using a lot of pressure at all. Very little. And I'm just going to do X strokes here. I'm not going to do half strokes. This is just X strokes. Now, sometimes you can feel a little bit of resistance, the blade starting to stick on an 8K. It's going to be hard to feel that with the tape. But we have a nice undercut here. You see that going right up the blade all the way across. And this is the part where you're just starting to refine your edge. Got some bubble clusters starting to form here. So this is just some simple X strokes. And if you want to count, if you want to say, well, I want to do 100 X strokes, that's fine. Come up with your own little system. You'll see a lot of videos out there where guys are saying, you're going to do more higher strokes at these higher grits. Setting the bevel, maybe you can set the bevel on 60 half strokes. But then as you move up in the stones, you might use a little bit more because they're not cutting as fast now. So you might need a few more strokes. But this is already giving me good indicators of a nice bevel and what looks to be will be a nice edge. Now I'm not really counting here. I'm kind of going by feel and visual cues I'm getting from the razor. One thing you can do too, very common, you'll see this a lot, is guys might use some running water on these higher. Not necessary, you know. If you want to, go right ahead. I usually do when I get to these higher stones on the synthetics. I get to a certain point and then I'll throw on some running water and kind of finish, because I don't use anything else. I usually use glycerin on a natural stone when I finish up, but this is just water. You don't want to use any oil or anything on these, or glycerin. These are just water stones. They perform excellent with just water. There's no need for anything else. You don't want to ruin the stone. These are very porous stones. All right, that's it for the 8K. All right, now we're going to move on to the 12K, and this is your finisher. This is what you're going to end with. This will give you a very, very nice shaving edge. Now, once you get more into honing and you start messing around with natural stones, you'll start to realize that other stones will give you a different feel to the edge. Conical being my personal favorite, followed very closely with black shadow, green shadow, then you have a Laloon. Those are kind of the edges that I prefer. JNat, I've shaved with JNat edges, but for my skin, the ones that I've had, just a little bit too harsh. But this 12K here will give you a very nice shaving edge. And then, if you want to experiment with your own thing later on, maybe grab some natural stones. You can do that. But to get started, this 1, 5, 8, 12 is a very good edge. Now, I'm not really using any pressure here at all. I'm just guiding the razor, because you'll feel just how smooth this stone really is. Now, there are some other synthetic stones. You can get a Shapton Rockstar. Goes up to 16K. You can get a 20K stone. But, to get yourself started, this is fine. This will give you a very nice shaving edge. And if you decide you want to jump down that rabbit hole and go after some more stones, there are a lot out there. There are a lot of guys out there that can give you a lot of great advice. Eric, Sean S, Sean G, Rob, The Razor's Edge, Bill M, No Name Bear, JPO. I mean, all these guys, if I missed you, I'm sorry. But there's a lot of guys out there that can give you some great advice and some great tips on all kinds of different stones. And hopefully you can reach out to them, or they can reach out to you, or whatever, and give you some advice and help you along on your honing journey. Yeah, this is looking really, really nice. All right, now we're going to do some a little bit of running water here. Like I said, this is how I kind of like to finish up with these stones. You might feel a little resistance, like I mentioned before. I am feeling a little bit. Nothing like I would feel if I had the tape off of this. It would be much more noticeable. Let's turn that off. We'll just finish up here. Okay, that'll do it. That should get you a nice shaving edge. Now I'm gonna pull the tape off of this here, off this razor, and show you what I was talking about, the markings on the spine that had really caught my attention. Just dry this off. So I don't know if you can see that. See that etching? Hash marks on the spine. I thought that was really, really cool. So that's what attracted me to this razor. Not only that, but it's also a New York razor, and that's what I collect. So, all right, guys, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. And Reed, I hope this helps you out, and I hope you get some good tips from this. I will get these stones cleaned up, dried out, and get them shipped off to you later this week. All right, guys, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Take care.